Thanks for staying with us. So there's a video of Senator Adams Oshiomhole that has been generating quite a bit of mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. In the video, the senator representing the Edo North Senatorial District speaks on EFCC versus Yahaya Bello, the same-sex marriage issues, religion, and poverty in Nigeria. According to him, there's a need for citizens to speak up against breaches of the law, regardless of individuals involved. Watch this clip for those of you that haven't seen it.
Because I'm in the Senate, I like to listen and hear what people say. On the floor of the Senate, when people were talking of Northern senators, Southern senators, Eastern senators, and Western senators, I am on record as saying that I am just a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am not saying it here. I said it when it matters, on the floor of the Nigeria Senate. Number two, I did have cause to speak about a month ago that he tried to understand our security challenges that we face. We must locate the details of the failure of political leadership. And I mean political leadership, including potential politicians here, who have resources to do all of those things that are convenient for them so to do, but refuse, they lack the will to make what I consider to be the most important investment, namely to resolve that never should a child be born in this country and deny the access to go to school. And we must not make laws that we don't have the political will to enforce, and identify the Universal Basic Education Law, under which every child ought to go to school, and if a family or a parent deny the child the right to go to school, there are penalties. How come no parents have been brought to before any magistrate court or alkali court or customary court and is charged for that offense? And I said, as a former governor, I was a member of the National Economic Council, where state governors, some state governors, I must emphasize some, argue that they do not have the resources to pay 50% subsidy in order to ensure that the children of the poor go to school, even where those governors are sending their own children abroad.
Senator Adams Oshiomhole giving us the vibes of when he was a comrade. You know, we've not seen this energy since in a long time when he was a comrade. I was reading some comments on social media. Somebody said that I'm glad to see that Oshiomhole finally found his voice again. He was very vocal as NLC president. He lost his voice when he became governor, became an introvert for 8 years. He's now born again activist. Because when government happens to you, because if you want to chop, you cannot talk. If you are chopping, you cannot talk.
You have to pick one side.
You have to pick one side. Now that he's now vocal, but that's just an aside. But the point is that obviously he's trending because he said quite a few things. And one of the things that struck me was one of the things I always talk on this, mention on this table, the issue of UBEC. Most state governors are expected to pay 50% of the counterpart funding. So the federal government will give you 50%. You're supposed to match it up with another 50% so that basic education can be accessible in your various states. And he said that some governors are saying they can't afford it. In fact, I read a report a few weeks ago here, 27 states are unable to access UBEC funds. What? For basic education. 27. So that's part of what he's saying. 27 states. That's everybody not accessing this money. So UBEC is even crying that, please, this money is here. Come and take it now. Because they don't have the 50% to match. So that's just one aside. He mentioned a few other things, but what are your own general thoughts on the video? Let me start with you, Dami. You're on the video.
I think that the first thing I like that he said is that he was first a senator before discrimination, the way we call it. And I also say that I'm first a Nigerian before I knew that I was from the Yoruba tribe. So when things happen to people, first of all, put yourself in the position of whoever. If it happens to me, what if? I like the context of mentioning names. But in Nigeria, you know that when you mention names, there are also repercussions. So most people are scared of the repercussions of mentioning names. It's not as if nobody cannot do ayagbangba, like we say. Everybody could have a loud mouth. Everybody could bell the cat. But like the question, who will bell the cat? It says, the popular saying that freedom of speech is a constitutional right, but your freedom after the speech is what nobody can really guarantee. So I like the fact that, of course, he indicted religious bodies too, because I always say people don't like the truth. People don't even want to hear the truth. From our religious bodies, a lot of people have run under the umbrella of religion to perpetrate different things. And the religious bodies, I'm not saying any religion now, they create this umbrella of sanctuary. Like, oh, yes, you are our member. Oh, you've come under grace. Oh, he has pleaded for forgiveness. God has forgiven you. If God has forgiven you, it does not mean that you will not still be punished for whatever you have done. I mean, all of the things he mentioned, I watched the video last night, and I started putting down in context, from the context of mentioning names to religion to even the same-sex marriage.
Yeah, he mentioned. What did he talk about that?
For me, same-sex marriage, I wrote it here, and I will just read it the way I wrote it. I said, we're a people of culture, and we are heavy on cultural values. Hence, the people who want to engage in such activities can seek refuge in a place where they can be openly accommodated and accepted, rather than trying to pollute the cultural values we are trying so much to work on, to preserve. That's what I said. The case of the recently cross-dresser, I said it. He shouldn't be here. There are a lot of countries, a lot of states, a lot of nations that would accept you the way you are. If you say you want to be cross-dressing, or you want to transgender, you want to go from this garden to that garden, either Garden of Eden to Garden of... Anywhere you want to go, just go to where you are being accepted. Okay. So it doesn't feel like we are victimizing you, we don't want to accept you. We are invested on culture. I'm training... I can't imagine my boys asking me, oh, mommy, why does a man have to wear wigs? How do I even begin to explain? Yeah. So if you know that you want to do it, some of us are not anywhere Bello face nice, some of us, but if you want to do it, so that the majority, it doesn't seem like the majority are against you, go to a country where you are accepted holistically. That's my...
Let me come to you, Amaka. So Senator Oshiomhole is talking. What are your thoughts on the video?
Okay, so first, I like what he said. I applaud him now that he's a vocal, he's a vocal senator. That's good. He has found his voice. Kudos to him. I like the fact that he said, as a country, as a nation, we shouldn't make laws that we do not have the will to enforce. If you want to make a law, I have the will to enforce it. So kudos to him on that. Then secondly, I picked what he talked about, hiding under religious bodies, and then you just feel that poverty will automatically be elevated. And when you go to church or the mosque, automatically you're covered. No, there has to be action behind it. You have to work. You know, the pastors are brainwashing people and coming under that guise. I really second that. And really, under religious bodies, people that are brainwashing people and using that as a disguise to also perpetrate crimes. So we should watch that. So I picked those two things, you know, that he said, yeah.
Mike, what are your own initial thoughts before we dig into?
My own initial thoughts is when I watched it, even though he was speaking
what Nigerians want to hear,
the truth or some truth, I was wondering, Shebi, you were governor for 8 years. What did you do when you were governor for 8 years? I bet there are no uneducated children in Edo State. And did you put all the children in school in Edo State? How come it is now that you are
speaking
a senator? Touch. You are now saying, and you are expecting me to hail you? I can't hail you. I'm sorry. What I can say is return to Edo State. Go and make sure those things that you have said here are implemented from there.
Yes.
Charity
begins at home. Exactly.
That's all.
We'll come back to what he did, because part of what we're putting together is let us review his. But I think also what is also crucial for me in that video is I think it was talking I mentioned it yesterday. Where we are as a nation now, we need more vocal leaders. Absolutely. We need more people speaking up. Yes, would have liked him probably to be more vocal back then, but the truth is that a few things he's saying and highlighting, which is good to see another APC chieftain saying it, that one of his colleagues or his former colleagues who used to be a governor doesn't have the immunity, and a sitting governor is protected. I mean, when you run from the law, you're a fugitive. That's the definition of a fugitive. So a sitting governor is protecting his fugitive. That in itself, it doesn't make any sense. So we need more people coming out openly to say, the Nigerians need to see that, because I did talk about, said that yesterday when we were talking about a different topic, and she was trying to say, because of where we are as a nation, we just need leaders to speak up and show that, listen, we're not aligned to this illegality. We are not in agreement with this behavior or the former governor of Kogi State and all that. So that for me was crucial, was critical, and I think that's what I took from that video.
What I can say, he's a senator now, so he's where they make the laws. He can start with a
And
bill.
effect changes.
Yes, no more immunity for governors. Start it.
Yes.
That's difficult too.
Just like Mariah said.
It should be difficult, but at least you have started it. We will see that you have started it.
I remember when Senator Samadi, there were a couple of sessions in the House then when he was a senator too, that he kept on vigorously lamenting, telling them, oh, I think it was bordered on insecurity as at that time, that this thing is right in our faces. They can kidnap anybody. That video is playing in my head like this. They can kidnap anybody at any time. But if we say we need more vocal leaders, we can only talk. Where is the action coming from? We need a certain percentage of people to move in, to swing into action. But if these people are docile, a lot of them are lackadaisical, that, oh, so far I can feed my family, so far I'm comfortable within my own perimeters, why should I bother? So it now feels like those ones who are agitating for the progress, they are just talking. After they talk, they will keep quiet. We'll still come back to share the same money that we want to use to better the future of these Nigerians. So I still think that the number of the people who are speaking up is not up to. Now, those ones who are still speaking up, have they been heard? Have these words, have they been implemented? What has been done so far? Because it's easy also to speak action. Like when our last guest who left, and you mentioned that, okay, we've always had conferences and conferences. If it's not conference, it's summit, it's symposium. We shall look for big grammar to name it. When will the action, the correct, authentic action, when will it start?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so let me go back to the word immunity. So where are the checks and balances? So if he's harboring, if a governor, a current sitting governor, is harboring a fugitive, then it makes me worried and concerned. What other things are going on behind the scenes for people that actually have this immunity? This one, it's open. It is in the open. It's glaring. What are the other things that are behind the scenes that we don't know? That they actually
Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we're going to try to dig further into what this our senator is saying and what he has done also in the past, just to align. Let's just marry both. Still discussing the video that is trending concerning Senator Adams Oshiomhole, and people were talking about the fact that he said Bishop Kuka didn't invite him. He kind of just said that. He went there for himself. He said, you didn't invite me. But we decided to stick to what exactly he said, because many have said that there was a lot of truths in it on the part of the church, which I understand. You see, I get the argument concerning the church, saying that you're saying that Jesus Christ, once you give your life to Christ, everything works out. There was a period where that was totally and completely all Nigerians needed to hear to buy hope or to give some kind of succor to what we're going through. Yes, we can say enlightenment, development, exposures here and there have helped us to see things better in different ways. But there was a time in the 80s, in the 90s, when religious was really coming on into this country. That was the message of hope that Nigerians needed. That was the anchor many Nigerians could hold on to develop and build themselves and hope for a better future. So now that, yes, maybe because of exposure now, we're saying, no, it's not the only way. The other ways, you have to focus on you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to focus on your business, you have to use certain tools. Yes, we get that. But you can never take away from the spiritual necessity required for you to develop that. We can't underscore that in any way. That's my own opinion on
I think that these 70s and 80s that you mentioned, we were very diligent with religion. Even religion was diligent with itself. Because in the 90s and in the 20s now, we're already hearing news that they are perpetrating money laundering through religious bodies. There's been a lot of accusing fingers on these religious bodies. We grew up in churches, we go to Sunday school, we go to choir practice and all of that. And I always say, I remember a video 2 years back, I think about 2 years back, the video went viral where a woman was conducting a naming ceremony for a child, I think in Ibadan. And if anybody remembers that video, and she was particularly putting a biro in the hand of that child and saying, this is a biro, this is a pen. You will use it to, what was that? You will use this pen to embezzle money. Yeah? Yes, that video was, I remember that I was with one of the TV stations that we actually talked about that video. I'll find it somewhere and I think I'll share with you. There was a video of a woman who was conducting a naming ceremony in Ibadan. She was dressed in a lace kind of outfit. And she was telling, she gave a biro to the baby. And she was saying that this biro, the big people of this country, they use it to embezzle money. You too, you use it to embezzle money. And it starts from there. Because I do not think that there was a sanction carried out on that particular woman for her to come and explain what she means. And how would you even engage a baby of 7 days old? You're already forecasting evil on this child. That's what I see it as. So we need to check.
Let me take Blessing. Blessing,
Okay.
confess like you're live. Oh, I'm so sorry for keeping you. Talking about what Oshiomhole did, I mean, there are a few things here. Said in education, Obaseki, okay, no, this is Obaseki, not even Oshiomhole. But I'm trying to look for some of the, just to answer your question, what did he do? I'm trying to go on education especially.
Yes.
But going back to these comments he made, because it's really gaining quite a bit of traction on social media. Let me come to you, YK.
No, I have something here where he had an explosive encounter with a widow, and it was recorded. We probably can't find that video, or we'll have to look for it, where he told the widow to go and die.
Oh, that was, yes, I remember,
Yes, I
Followed his
remember.
famous
I
explosive
remember.
encounter with the widow on
Yeah.
a major Benin street, which went viral, telling her to go and die, leading to his having to issue a public apology.
Yes, I remember that. That was many years
Some
ago.
money to start a business. So the person who wrote it is also saying Oshiomhole appeared to work hard as a governor, particularly when there were television cameras present, but it's unclear what he did when they were not. The idea of lifting entire communities or entire peoples out of poverty, indeed. The idea of commitment to a principle did not appear to attract him.
Okay. We're going to be wrapping up with Oshiomhole, with Oshiomhole very soon. But let me just take you one last final.
Okay, like from what I saw, because I'm trying to dig deep, because of the education thing, because if you actually set a precedent in a state, I want to believe that your predecessors should have continued with that. And like YK asked, that are they uneducated people in the state, and are they kids that are not able to have access to education in the state?
If that one, I do that one, me, I know.
Yes.
Obaseki invested, trained over to 11,000 or 12,000 teachers because I was part of that project. So that one, you can't, Obaseki worked. And obviously it was based on the precedents that possibly that Oshiomhole has set.
Precedents
So I
had
guess,
set
so
as a
let's not even go deep into the states. I want to also focus on just that video, because if we start going deeper into the states, we'll probably just lose track of the conversation. But we've not touched on the same-sex one he mentioned. I know you touched on it a bit. What are your thoughts on it? Everybody's always careful when it comes to the same-sex points he made.
He made a comment to me that most Nigerians agree with. But because of being politically correct now, we don't acknowledge. We are all hiding under being politically correct, myself included. I'm not going to exonerate myself, so I refuse to comment. I shall plead the fifth.
Everybody's looking for American visa, but it's all good.
No, I don't need American visa.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But you see, people are always careful when it comes to same-sex issues on that matter. What are your own thoughts on what he said?
Yes, I wouldn't go deep into it anyways, do you understand? But for me, like she said, Dami said, we live in a, we embody certain cultures, do you understand, in Africa. And then the good thing is that we are also in a country that gives you the freedom to travel out to Japan. So many people are Japan for, for better lifestyle, for their kids, education. And then I don't see the reason why someone should stay in a country that constrains them from being the best version of themselves. I'm that person that believes that in this life is too short. You can drop dead at any minute. Please live your best life. And if you're in a space or an environment that doesn't let you do that, please leave that environment. That's all
right, let me drop that.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.